In this video, we're going to figure out how to fit this thing, the Gatekeeper Interior, to this thing, the Element ECTO. Stay tuned. Hey folks, and welcome back. So today, like I say, we're going to be fitting this Element Gatekeeper Interior into the Element ECTO body shell. Now, according to the Trail Tips Tuesday on the Element YouTube channel, which if you're not already subscribed to that, you should definitely be, but go do that later, not now. This interior piece fits quite nicely into the ECTO body shell. Not exactly, but pretty close. There is a bit of a tutorial already, like I say, on the Element YouTube channel, but I'm going to do things just a little bit differently, not hugely differently, and hopefully what I'll be able to do at the end of this is to provide a cutting template that you can then print off and use to just help guide you with the cutting of one of these if you want to fit one to your Element ECTO. They're a nice little interior set. They come with decals, which I can't pick up. Come with some decals for things like harnesses and sleeves for the drivers and a bit of a dashboard. They come with separate helmets, which just attach with a screw, and they do come with lots of screws to attach those with. The nice thing about these, I suppose, if you wanted to, you could potentially use different heads if you've got them. You know, you could use the axial ones or whatever, but these are fine. I'm quite happy with those. I am trying to go for a kind of race truck look with my ECTO, so it won't feel too out of place to have racing drivers in there. I'm going to paint it a couple of different colours, so I'm going to hit the inside with a black, which will give me obviously the kind of black interior, but then I'm going to hit the driver parts with grey that I've already got from the Power Wagon build, just to give them a little bit more life, and then we'll put the white and green decals on, and I think that'll look okay. So I'm going to get straight into that now, and we'll take it from there. So the first thing I'm going to do is just trim away all of this kind of excess down the sides. None of that's needed, so that can all come off. I'm going to keep as much of this back piece as I can because I think that's going to be useful for mounting it later. And then we'll get into trimming much closer to the existing lines. Okay, so as you can see, I'm using a combination here of a pair of kitchen scissors because I don't have any Lexan scissors, and a very sharp scalpel, so I need to be super careful around that. So, I mean, just taking the first chunk of that off, we can start to see how that's going to fit. It's not quite there yet, but I think if we now trim down the proper trim lines, that will start to fit in there quite snugly. So one of the nice things about Lexan is that you can do this score and snap approach. So I've scored that, run down a couple of times, and that should snap away quite nicely now. So that's coming away quite easily. Okay, so we'll offer that up again, and that should start to snug down now. So the next thing we're going to need to do is just take off these corners and probably some of this front, but we'll take the back corners off first. We can do that with the scissors. There we go, we're starting to snug in there now. So I think the next thing we need to do is notch that out, which I think that's going to be easier to do with the knife. So that's going to start to fit down into there really nicely now. So we've definitely got to take some off this front, because I would like the seats to sit pretty far back. I might just need to take these corners off, which could be a bit of a challenge. So let's trim this down first. Okay, and we are starting to get somewhere now. So the next thing I'm going to do is trim around the fuel cell, because what I then want to do is leave two tabs that I can put a hole through and use these screws that mount the roll bars to mount the back of the body shell. Sorry, the back of the interior. Okay, so let's check again. And yeah, as I thought, we're going to just have to take off some material just from these corners here, just so that the corner of the seat sits back far enough, because I do want the interior to go as far back as it will go. I'm going to be finding bits of Lexan on my dining room floor for weeks. That's great, so that's sitting back really nicely now, exactly where I want it to be. I'm going to be able to mark a couple of holes in there and just put a screw in each, put that screw through each, and we can mount the body at that point. So we can now turn our attention to the front. So I think we can definitely come off all the way along this interior kind of line there. Okay, I think we're nearly there. So the next bit I'm going to remove is this corner. And I think that's probably going to do the job. Well, that's kind of nice. The screws or the little tabs that hold these door trims on actually serve quite nicely as securing bits for that. That's not going anywhere. Fabulous. That solves that problem as well. Brilliant. So that's the interior cut down into pretty much the shape I want. So what I'm going to do is draw around that, scan it, and put it on Google Docs or something, so that at least you've got a sort of template to cut around. Entirely up to you whether you want to do that or whether you want to. It's not difficult to just chip away at it and get it into a usable shape. So the next job is obviously paint. What I'm planning to do here is there is an overspray mask on the top side, so I'm going to hit the back side of it with the black as best I can, and then I'm going to trim round the drivers and just remove the overspray mask from the drivers, and then hit this top side in the grey. So that means I'll get a nice shiny black interior for the majority of it, but the drivers will be a kind of matte grey. And there we go. That went pretty well to plan. Very pleased with that. Okay, so there we have our finished interior. So the painting went really well. Very pleased with that. Used a plain Tamiya black on the underside. It's a bit glossier than the one I usually use, which is actually a Core RC rather than a Tamiya one. And that's given us a nice glossy finish for the majority of the cockpit, as it were. And then the driver and passenger I've done on this side, on the top, with a matte grey. I think it's called Shark Grey, and that's a Core RC colour. I've then just added the decals that come with the kit, so they're straight from Element, and I think the guys look pretty good, so I'm really pleased with that. I've test fit it already, so I know it works. The 2 tabs at the back that I put in to screw into the screws where the rear cage work a treat, and the 2 door hinges, the little bits that come through the body for those, work brilliantly to just hold the front in place. I don't know if that's going to be the permanent solution. I may do a more permanent solution to that, but for now that's working really well, so I'm really pleased. So let's get that thrown in. You can see what it looks like, and then we'll wrap up. And that's it. It's all nice and snug in there. It doesn't feel like it's going to come loose. It doesn't rattle. There's no kind of springing about. And there we go. We've got a couple of nice drivers in there, which again you probably won't be able to see very well, but I will get some close-ups and show you the finished article. That's all there is to it. That's the Gatekeeper interior fitted, painted up and trimmed beautifully to fit inside the Ecto. I think it looks 100% better already. I always think trucks look weird without interiors, but this is the first one I've actually gone to the effort of installing one, and I'm so pleased it did. Looks loads better. Haven't got any running footage of it at the moment because unfortunately the dreaded COVID has caught up with me, so I'm not allowed out of the house at the minute. But as soon as I'm better and able to go out, I'll get out, get some nice video and pop something on the channel. So there we go, that's going to do it for this video. We'll finish up with some nice sort of slow-mo B-roll type shots. While we're doing that and while you're having a look, don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe if you haven't done already, and if you're enjoying these videos, and we'll see you on the next one.